Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you also find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. We'll also drop a link to the free Telegram group where we'll be sharing updates of these setups as the week unfolds. Without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups discussed in our previous video before we dive into next week's analysis, so stay tuned. We have here S&P 500. So last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest to give us an entry. We took our entry here and price or the trade is still running, so we are still holding on to this position. We might likely have a further dip or a deeper correction into this zone as well. So we'll just take our first TP here and we'll see how price develops going forward, and we'll look forward to possible continuation or corrections into possible selling opportunities into this very zone we have below here. So let's see the next pair. This is Australia 200. So we were able to catch this position as well. So we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this to retest this 4-hour structure. It came back, retested, and price is currently moving in our direction as we anticipated. So we'll be holding on to this position for the coming weeks until it hits our desired target. We have the AUDJPY. So for AUDJPY, last week we anticipated that price was going to break or shift structure here and come for a retest and continue to the upside. Price broke or shifted but never gave us an entry opportunity and went through, so we missed out on this position last week. This is in NZDCAD. So NZDCAD, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest. We had this nice rejection candle at our area of interest, and we had this it doesn't really look like an engulfing candle, but more like an evening star formation, but it's not too clear. And so price just took off from the area of interest. We couldn't get a clear entry or a good entry for this position, but going into next week, if we are able to get a pullback into this zone somewhere here and we are able to get some selling opportunities, we can still look out for the sales until we hit this target we have below here. So let's look out for that. If we are able to get that pullback, then we'll be looking out for that sell to the TP2 we have here. So this is also GBPNZD. So we're looking for it to sell from any of these two zones. Okay, so we had a 4-hour structure shift which we were supposed to wait for more confirmations by having a daily structure shift at the structure point, but then I'll say this was an impulsive entry, even though we had a very one confirmation, which was a 4-hour structure shift that happened here. We came for a pullback, and then we had a bearish engulfing candle. So we waited for a retest of the rejection candle, and then we took our position here and still got hit by the SL. So this was a loss on GBPNZD. So let's see what we have for the economic calendar for the coming week. Sorry. So this week or the coming week is a very intense week, or we're going to have it's actually loaded with a lot of high impact news. So let's be on the lookout for the coming week. So on Monday we have the CADJPY, and on Tuesday we're going to have the AUD cash rate, which is very volatile. So we should take caution of that for the AUD. On Wednesday we're going to have the core PPI for USD and the CAD overnight rate or Bank of Canada's rate statement. Later that day on Wednesday we're going to have the FOMC for the US dollar, and then the NZDUSD later that night. On Thursday we're also going to have the employment change or unemployment rate for AUD, which is more like the NFP for AUD. We're also going to have the Bank of Japan's policy rate and monetary policy statement. In the morning we're also going to have the claimant count change for the GBP, and we're also going to have CHF monetary policy assessment, and policy rate for the CHF. This is very, very, very volatile. So let's be on the lookout for this particular economic event when you are holding any CHF pair. GBP also, we're also going to have the monetary policy statement, official bank rate for the GBP the same day, and later on, some few hours or minutes after the GBP's official bank rate, we're also going to have the main refinancing rate and monetary policy statement for the euro as well. And this is a bank holiday for JPY. And then on Friday, there's no high impact news. So let's take caution of these economic events which might alter our trades entirely. So let's be on the lookout. We have here DXY. So DXY, considering what's the tensions that is going on in the Gulf region, we have this setup. So this is the weekly time frame for DXY. And previously, whenever price hits this support, we have a consolidation or a reversal pattern, and then price takes off. So what we have here is we are likely going to see a possible shark pattern or cipher pattern develop from here, which might be a repetition of what we saw in from January 2021 to September 2022. So we are likely going to see this wild bullish impulsive, a similar thing happening here also once again, which is going to give us a completion of this possible shark or cipher pattern. And this will be our major resistance. This zone here will be our sorry, this zone here will be our major resistance. So if price is able to break through this zone here, it counts for a retest, then we know that it's going to be an up movement for the DXY for quite some time, or a very long time. So let's be on the lookout. We are very bullish, extremely bullish for DXY now, and as you can see, we have this double bottom formation happening here. So if we're able to clear this neckline and come for a retest, then we know that we are likely going to see the completion of this cipher or shark pattern, harmonic pattern. So we are only going to be looking for longs or DXY strength for the coming weeks or months ahead of us. So sorry. So this is the same DXY. So going into next week, what we'll be looking out for is a possible pullback into this very first area of interest to look for buying opportunities. If we get a pullback into this area of interest, we'll look for buying opportunities. Should price also pull back into the second area of interest, we'll be looking for it to a buy from this zone as well to the upside. The reason why I gave this was from last week. We can also hit this resistance, and the price or DXY can start falling from there. So we have this also as an alternative right here. Should price find its way back to break this zone, then they are going down also. So this will be our alternative move. But then going forward, we are going to be looking out for more buys on DXY or DXY strength. This is EURUSD. So going into next week, we'll be EURUSD is currently very bearish now on a weekly perspective, daily and in a 4-hour time frames is very bearish now. So going into next week, what we'll be looking out for is a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Look for selling opportunities and we target the targets we have below. Should price pull back a bit higher into the second zone, we'll still be interested in looking for selling opportunities to the downside. And this TP right here, or TP4 and TP5 will be our extreme targets, more like our long-term targets. If we see, or if DXY plays out as I illustrated in the very first setup for DXY, so this can only be validated if price breaks above the zone and continues to the upside. Until then, we are extremely bearish for EURUSD for the coming weeks. We have here GBPUSD. So currently and GBPUSD has also shifted bearish on a weekly perspective and in a daily perspective. So what we'll be waiting for is a pullback into the first area of interest and look for selling opportunities to the downside. Should price pull back a bit higher into the second zone above, we'll still be interested in taking the sells from here to the downside. So these are various targets we have below this TP1, TP2, TP3. So for now, we'll be targeting TP2, and then later, if we get other selling opportunities, we'll be looking forward to targeting TP3 and maybe this possible low we have here. So we are extremely bearish for GBPUSD. Price breaks above here with a weekly candle, and we'll be looking forward to buys from here. Until then, we are extremely bearish for GBPUSD. We also have a USDCAD. The USDCAD is forming a potential harmonic pattern, which is either a cipher or a shark pattern. So this is the pattern we have identified. This is the pattern. So this is our X, our A, our B, C leg, and a possible D leg, which is yet to form. So going into next week, we'll be looking forward to a possible pullback into this area of interest. We'll be looking forward to a possible pullback into this area of interest to give us buying opportunities. So should price pull back into this area of interest, we'll be looking forward to buying opportunities to have. We're going to have this as our first target, and our second target will be our cipher pattern, and our third target will be the shark pattern potential reversal zone. So we are currently bullish for USDCAD. We also have a USDCHF. So for USDCHF, this was a very huge harmonic pattern it has been developing since 2023. Yes, so this is the X, A, B, C, D. So this is the completion of a deep crab pattern for USDCHF. So going forward, you're going to look for it to buys to hit any of these two TPs we have above. So we're going to, for the coming week, we'll look for a possible pullback into this area of interest. Wait for a possible pullback into this area of interest to look for buying opportunities right here. We'll take our buys to the upside. So this will be our TP1, and then our TP2 is the one above. This is a very long-term trade. So as price progresses, we'll be looking forward to buying opportunities as it continues to move upwards. So we are very bullish for USDCHF for the coming weeks or months. This is NZDUSD. So for NZDUSD, we're also looking for it due to the potential strength for DXY. We're going to look out for sells or shorts for NZD USD. So we're going to look for it to a possible pullback into this area of interest and look for selling opportunities to the downside. Should price pull back to the second zone above, we'll be interested in taking the sells from there. And this will be our TP1, TP2, and this will be our TP3 we have right here. If that plays out, this would likely be considered as a potential butterfly pattern. So this will be the X, this will be the A, this will be the B leg, the C leg, and the potential D leg that we are looking out for to the downside. So we are also very bearish on NZDUSD for the coming week. We have here USDJPY, and USDJPY is also developing. USDJPY is also playing out as a potential butterfly pattern, which is extremely bullish for USDJPY. So going into next week, we're looking for it a possible pullback into this area of interest. The first one, look for buying opportunities. To have this as our TP1. This will be our TP2 we have right here at the top, which will be our potential reversal zone for the butterfly pattern that is developing. Okay, butterfly TT. So we are looking for it a possible buys for USDJPY or longs for USDJPY for the coming weeks ahead of us. We also have here CADJPY. We had this setup from last week where we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest to give us buying opportunities. The price is here to pull back into the area of interest, so we are still going to look out for this setup for the coming week. So it's either price retraces to this zone, give us buying opportunities, or retraces to the second zone below, and we'll still be interested in looking for the buys from there as well to the upside. So these are various targets we have about for CADJPY. This is GBPCAD. So last week we identified this head and shoulder formation, and we anticipated that price was going to pull back to retest the neckline of the head and shoulder formation to give us selling opportunities to the downside. I think price tipped it a little bit, but it wasn't convincing enough. So what we're going to look out for, we're also seeing a possible bullish flag developing here. So price might likely break this flag pattern and then give us a buy into the neckline, where we'll be interested in looking for the sells to the downside. So we're going to be very patient with this setup and wait for it to develop some more for us to take our decision. So what we are waiting for is to see price approach or properly retest this neckline or area of interest before we look out for selling opportunities to the downside. So we are extremely bearish for CADJPY, but we have to wait for it to make its way to the area of interest we have above before we take our sales to the downside. We have EURGBP, and EURGBP is currently developing a head and shoulder formation, a very clean one. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder. So what we're going to be looking out for is a possible pullback into this area of interest. We look for selling opportunities and we sell to the downside. So we are extremely bearish on EURGBP for now. Should price make its way a bit higher to the zone above, we'll still be interested in taking the sells from here to the downside. But if price breaks this structural point or this weekly structure and breaks this zone and comes for retest, then we know that we are heading bullish for EURGBP. Until then, we are extremely bearish now for EURGBP. We have here EURNZD. So for EURNZD, we have a possible double bottom reaction from this strong area of interest. So what we are going to look for it is wait for a daily candle to break or close above this zone, comes for a retest, and then we look for it to buy in opportunities to the upside. So we have to be patient to see price break or close above this daily structure or possible neckline, and then we come for a retest and we continue to the upside. So we are extremely bullish for EURNZD for the coming week. This can only be invalidated if price clears these structures or daily structures we have here or continues to the upside. Until then, we are very bullish for EURNZD for the coming week. We also have the AUDCHF. Last week we anticipated that the AUDCHF was going to sell, but this week it has turned. The direction has shifted. So what we're going to do is look out for buying opportunities. Price has already retested the very first zone we have here. So going into next week, we'll be looking for it to reverse our pattern. So buying opportunities within this zone, this first zone, will take our buys to the upside. Should price pull back to the second zone below, we'll be interested in taking the buys from here as well to the upside. But then if price find its way to shift structure or break this daily structure we have here close below it and counts for retest, then we know that we have shifted bearish for AUDCHF. So this is gold. We took a position on gold around this area. Our entry was around this side, and price moved into profit and it came back by entry point. So we closed this trade at break even, and I'm going to explain why we closed this position. So if you look at the time frame I gave on DXY, where between January 2021 to September 2022, where DXY had a very strong push to the upside, what you can realize, there's the time frame indicated here with these two vertical lines. So price actually consolidated for a while before it took off, or before the bullishness resumed afterwards, and that was the time where DXY was very strong. So we are likely going to see a possible deeper correction for gold for the coming weeks ahead of us. So we are likely going to see some sells on gold, maybe this structure point or the structure points we have below. So gold, in my opinion, has shifted bearish. So it would be wise for us to take to be taking sales than buys for now. So this, let's clear this. Please. Yeah. So going into next week, we'll be looking forward to selling opportunities. So what we can do is we can also patiently wait for a weekly candle to close below. What we can also do is wait for a weekly candle to close below this structure point we have here. If we get a weekly candle close below this zone, then we'll look forward to a possible pullback, and then we'll look for selling opportunities to the downside. And if we are also fortunate to get some entries, or if we are fortunate to get price to retest the structure points, daily structure points we have here, we would likely see some sales from here to the downside. So we'll be, I'll say, gold, if DXY plays out as we saw in the very first setup for DXY, then we are likely going to see some downside for gold for a while before we would see some strong bullishness taking off from there. So we are bearish on gold for now. So all we have to do is look for selling opportunities on gold, and then we take that. This is silver. So earlier in the week, we had a position that we buy limit we placed here, and that limit was called off earlier before price even mitigated the zone. And that's when we noticed that the gold and then silver is shifting bearish. So let me go back to the 2021-2022 time frame. So this between 2021 to 2022. So what we can see is that there was a bit of consolidation on silver, and we saw price dip a little bit, or let me say corrected a while before later price took off from there. So if DXY is going to be extremely strong, we are likely going to see some corrections on silver and gold for a while. A possible what do you call it, sell to maybe this structure point we have here before we would likely see some bullish movement to the upside. So what we are going to do is, so this trade was not taken. Let's clear this from here. So what we'll be looking forward to is a possible pullback, a first possible pullback into the structure point. If we get a pullback into the structure point or a bit higher, we will look for selling opportunities and we'll take our sales to the downside. So we're going to target this structure point as our first target, and this low we have here as our second target for the coming week. And the zone or structure point we have here will be our second or third target should price break below this zones we have here. So we are extremely, for now we have a bearish sentiment on both gold and silver for the coming week. This is crude oil. So I'll say Brent crude oil or UK oil. So Brent crude oil is forming a harmonic pattern. It's developing a harmonic pattern with a crab pattern. So this, it moved very swiftly. So if you are not careful, you might not identify the pattern properly. These are X, these are A, B should be somewhere here, and a C retraced to retest this zone. And then we are looking forward to a D to the crab pattern formation here. So if we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, this is actually our B leg. So the B leg started from here, and then the C leg retraced more like if you draw it perfectly, the pattern will look very weird. So that's why I place it a bit to the side. So this whole move here is our B, our C leg. Now you're looking forward to bullishness to the upside to complete the harmonic pattern. So Sorry guys, sorry we lost our sound along the way. So the explanation I was giving earlier was that we have a potential harmonic pattern developing on crude oil, and this is our X, this is our A, our B, and our C leg is already formed. So we are waiting for completion of the D leg, which we are likely going to see the crude oil prices or Brent crude oil hitting about $186 per barrel in the coming weeks or days. If the the escalations in the Gulf region continues, then we are likely going to see this completion or this move playing out on crude oil or Brent crude oil. So if we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, we had a structural shift here. After price retested this area of interest, we had a structural shift where we anticipated that price was going to retest the structure point or come back a bit deeper and go to the upside. So the pullback came, but we didn't get a retest. So if we are fortunate to get a retest of the structure point, then we'll be looking forward to buying opportunities to the upside, where we're going to have $120 per barrel and $134 per barrel as our TP1 and our TP2, and our TP3 is going to be $186 per barrel. And if price hits $186 per barrel, we are also more likely to hit $200 per barrel for Brent crude oil for the coming weeks or days ahead of us. So let's be on the lookout and look for buying opportunities as price develops to the upside. This is US30. So US30 is now extremely bearish. So what we'll be looking out for is a possible pullback into the area of interest we have here. Look for selling opportunities, then we target the zone we have below here. So we are extremely bearish on US30. Should price break above this zone account for retest, then we know that we are slightly shifting bullish on US30. So we currently we have a bearish sentiment for US30. I think the last for the week, we actually had this position from last week where we had this nice rejection candle and then this follow-up candle, which was not, the momentum was not too strong, but was good enough to take the trade. But then it happened at the market close. Immediately markets opened, there was this bearish momentum that took off, so we were unable to catch this position. We left this setup open to see if price was going to pull back to retest or give us an entry, but then price never pulled back to our entry, and then it kept going down or kept falling. So going into next week, what we'll be looking forward to is if price pulls back again into this zone. If price pull back again into this area of interest within this zone, if we get a possible pullback and we get selling confirmations, we'll still be interested in taking the sells from that zone to our TP2 that we have below here. So until price reaches this take profit, we'll still be interested in looking for selling opportunities before price hits its ultimate target. So going into next week, we're looking forward to a possible pullback into this zone and look for selling opportunities from here to the downside. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. Really appreciate you for your time. Sorry for the break in sound. We had a technical issue and we are sorry about that. I would like to encourage all of us to apply proper risk management to our trades, trade safe and sound, and I wish all of us a very fruitful and profitable week ahead of us, and I'll catch you guys on another episode. Take good care of yourself and have a wonderful time. Bye bye.